Another draw to the triangle are the top 3 universities. Join us as we take a view. All right, so I love that we're starting here. I'm talking about the Triangle University scene that we have.
And where is that, Pam? Where are we located?
So we're in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're at NC State University. So it's my alma mater.
Home of the Wolfpack. Yes, absolutely.
For sure. Yes.
So here we are, like you said, in Raleigh. I know we're super close to downtown, which we've done some other videos, but you've got 3 top universities in the Triangle. Why are people going to choose to go to NC State? Like, what are they known for from a school perspective?
So I think it's a lot of things. I think if you're a kid that maybe wants to live in a little bit of a bigger city, perhaps, Raleigh is slightly larger than Chapel Hill or Durham too. So you have the trappings of a larger base with that. I think the school itself is really known for science, technology, engineering, agriculture. Vet schools really renowned too, and there's not that many vet schools in the country. So if that's your path, you're kind of limited as well. And then just being based out of Raleigh, it's kind of nice. You've got 2 campuses. One's kind of the main old campus, and then there's a brand new Centennial campus with all the bells and whistles too.
So having just taken our kids like through the different college process and all of that, is this a walkable campus? Is this like a lot of things are outdoors? Is it a big campus? Like if you're living on it, like
campus.
So what does that look like for somebody if they're thinking of like, oh, I want to go to this? You know, a lot of people like it to be small. Is it spread out? Can you live here? Do you live out in the outskirts, or kind of what do you do?
I mean, you can totally live on campus. I mean, that is easy. There's also a Wolf line, so you can take a bus to both campuses if you have classes on each. I walked it back in the day. Now it was a walk. It's a pretty big campus, but it's doable. I think it's like the perfect size. It's big enough where you have a lot of things going on. You've got football, you've got basketball, which we'll talk about a little bit more too. So you have all the big sports that a big university would have. But Raleigh is not a mega city either, so it can kind of have that good community feel too.
Well, I just know that I love, so we live in Cary. I know that we can come here, and behind us is the Lenovo Center, which is going to be the Carolina Hurricanes. You've got the State Fair that's right here, and you mentioned the vet school, and so you can come here and you can actually bring your dogs, and they'll work on them just for the vets and the and then the biggest thing that I love is their howling cow with agriculture and the dairy and the farms.
It'll take you by surprise to see like cows like right beside a
pigs
campus.
and then there's the beautiful the clock tower, and then they have the big. What's the big Krispy Kreme run?
Oh, yeah.
Is through here, another North Carolina state institution. So anything else? So you chose Wolfpack. It was a long time ago. Not that I'm trying to age you at all, that you went to NC State. But why would somebody want to come here, especially if you're looking from a real estate standpoint, from an investment standpoint? Why would this be a good thing, not maybe for the student, but from after they graduate?
So I think it's great. There's so many jobs that come from both NC State, Duke, Carolina. And so I think a lot of kids end up just staying here after school. I did. I didn't grow up in Raleigh, but I stayed after I graduated. And then I think parents see it as the opportunity of maybe buying a property for their kid, and then just, you know, allowing the roommates to kind of pay the mortgage and things like that too. Raleigh's a really growing city, great investment opportunities too. So from a real estate standpoint, it's pretty awesome.
And we'll talk about the next one that we go to is when we talk about University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And I have clients who had investment properties in other areas, had then sold those, and now are buying investment properties for the students who are going there. So you can really spend anywhere throughout the Triangle.
For sure. All 3 are really good schools. I just happen to like this one.
So join us in a minute as we tour UNC Chapel Hill. All right. I know it's going to be hard, but we are going to talk about the other 2 top universities here in North Carolina, UNC Chapel Hill and Duke University, but maybe we'll start with UNC Chapel Hill.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a great city. Chapel Hill is beautiful.
Gorgeous. It's that just old, just like
a little village,
and the hills and a lot of brick, and so I really do love it down there.
I do too. I feel like when my daughter was playing some travel ball, we would go to Princeton. It sounds very pretentious, but we go to Princeton to play, and some of those northeast, like little small Main Street towns, really very much reminded me also of Chapel Hill too. So I think if that's your vibe, right, a little small villagey Main Street.
Yeah, because we talked about how when you went to NC State, like it's a pretty big campus and it's more spread out. So when I think of Chapel Hill, I feel like it's a lot more condensed in there and a lot hillier there. You know, my first introduction to Chapel Hill was they'd have the Tar Heel 10 miler. And in one of the miles, it's literally the street is straight up like this, and then you're trying to go down, but it's much hillier, much more of that, I don't want to say country feel, but a little bit just more.
It's very lush. I mean, as you see around us here, we've got a lot of trees, a lot of green grass, and I feel like that's super indicative of the campus. It's beautiful. It's typically known as like a liberal arts university. And so with that, I mean, there's a ton of journalism. It's a great program there too, but also known for medicine and also known as an awesome law school too. So I think for graduate studies, it's definitely a more of an elite program than some of the other schools that we have in the state.
So what are students and kids going to do when they're not in school? Where's the hangout and the main street there at UNC?
Yeah, so Franklin Street has always been known as the spot, and Halloween has always been a popular time to kind of walk in costume, but also, I mean, UNC is really known for their sports. I mean, they win, I think, at just about everything, honestly, except football. It's been a little bit of a challenge, but when they win those championships, you know, they kind of storm Franklin Street as well. It's really kind of a cool, just all-American college town. It really is a college town.
Okay, so from a real estate perspective, why would somebody invest in Chapel Hill versus coming down here to Raleigh to NC State?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an opportunity for a lot of folks, again, that graduate studies. Like I just see a lot of people even after your bachelor's degree, there's so law school, med school, where you're going to have to really commit some time there too. I think there is a great opportunity. You're kind of moving into that professional zone to look for a potential investment property there as well. Chapel Hill has some beautiful neighborhoods.
Oh my gosh, they do.
They have some great condos and townhomes as well. Maybe not as affordable as what we're going to talk about in some other areas there as well. But again, a parent that may want to invest in their kids where they're going to live and collect rent, there's a way to do that just like you would at any of the other universities too.
And having a handful of friends whose kids, you know, we live here and their kids go to Chapel Hill, real estate is at a premium in terms of if they don't live on campus because they've grown so much over the years, which is amazing. So I know that it's super tough. So if you can get in on a deal and you can buy something and hold on to it, it's going to be a long time before you're not going to have that thing rented for sure. So something to definitely think about, just seeing the firsthand experience of October of one year is for next year having to, and it's like to beg, borrow, and steal a little bit to find that house to rent or something like that. So
real estate may be a good place to kind of pivot and talk a little bit about the final one, Duke University too. Is I think there's still a good real estate investment piece there because I think the prices tend to be, funny enough, Duke is not a inexpensive but the real estate in Durham can provide some opportunities there, right? It's a lot of changeover and a lot of growth in that city.
Yes, and so just like when we've talked about them, you know, you start in Raleigh and you go down to Cary in the suburbs, you know, as the growth is happening, that's kind of now what's going to Durham. And so we've had tremendous growth here in Raleigh. The prices of houses have gone up a little bit, so we are seeing some families that are moving out a little bit to Durham County, and not just where Duke is, but all around there, and to be able to then find what they're looking for at a price that makes them feel comfortable doing so.
And what a beautiful university.
Have you been to the chapel?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, the chapel is absolutely
ridiculous.
It is gorgeous. But that campus, I mean, so if you're going to Duke, I mean, they have, I think, a college for everything and what you're doing, but it's just,
I think it definitely feels like an Ivy League school. Lots of stone, very small campus. I think it has national recognition, but funny enough, the campus and the student body is actually very small and intimate. But you have to be pretty smart to go to school there.
You do. I've got one friend whose son's there, and it's simply amazing. And a lot of people will go to their grad school there too. So we've met a lot of people who've come here who are still students, but they're actually in grad school. So especially for the medical as well, and for law and some other things that they're doing. So that's when we really
business school is really good there too.
And that's when they will purchase a condo and or a townhome, maybe a starter home, and go to school there and be able to rent that out and still be able to make the budget of Duke, make the budget of your mortgage, and be able to do that. So
for sure. All right, so if you want to know more information about any of our local universities or the real estate surrounding it, please feel free to reach out.